Alright guys, in this video I'm going to go over how to play the advanced variation of the Caro. So honestly, I've played a lot of different variations against the Caro. I think advanced is the best. Knight c3, it's pretty easy for black to play. I've also had a lot of good results with Knight c3, but I think e5 is it's way more fun, way more attacking. Alright, so first we'll look at bishop f5. And let me get to PS1 over here. Okay, so bishop f5. First move is you always got to go h4. I have a lot of my students forget to go h4. Basically, we're trying to trap the bishop. Like if e6, for example. Ta-da! This would be great. But most people know to go h5. So we'll look at h6 during PS2. So this is just kind of the initial phase of what you want to do. Actually, we'll hit h6 too. So h5. Basically, they're not trying to get the bishop trapped, so we go bishop d3, take, and now there's two main variations here. There's e6, and there's queen a5 check. So for e6, the big thing you have to know is just make sure you go bishop g5. If you go knight d2 first and your bishop gets stuck, the position is not so fun for white. Okay, so bishop g5. Let's look at queen b6 first. That's the fun one. Actually, let's look at bishop e7 first. So bishop e7. The big idea is you want to squeeze black. In the advanced variation, you're going to have a lot of space, and black's going to go for breaks and trades on the queen side for the most part. So here we would not take, we're going to go knight f3. And just as a general rule, when you have a space advantage, you try to avoid trades. That's just a good principle. Now, if they go knight h6, generally what I like to do is I always like to take this. Because basically after here, they cannot castle. And the big thing that you just have to know is probably you're going to have to open up the position this way. They're probably going to do some king thing like this. And you're going to go g3. You might even do a king thing like this. But g3 and then go for the c4 break at the right time. Yeah, generally I would say don't go c4 immediately. Because here they can take and they're going to play against this pawn. And it's really annoying. They put a queen here. They'll put a knight here. They double up on the d file. It's super simple for them. So what I like to do if I'm going to go c4 is I like to go b3 first. Probably don't do this immediately. You got to develop and stuff. Yeah, so I would just go knight d2, castle, g3, castle, and then eventually go for this break. And if they go c5, I think you can... I guess you go c3. You can take it too. I've taken it before. It keeps the position open, and that's always kind of fun when the king is stuck in the middle. Okay, so knight h6. So bishop e7 is good. Bishop e7 is not like the more popular move. Queen b6 and queen a5 check. Let's do queen b6. This one can get pretty fun. So we're going to go knight d2. Obviously, we're always down to sack the b pawn in the Caro. That's just going to be an idea you see again and again. Sack the b pawn. So if they take this, it's not even like a sack. Because you go rook b1, you get b7 immediately. And like I wouldn't be worried about their quote-unquote up a pawn here. Because their king is in some pretty dangerous waters, I would say. And then probably here, like you don't even rush it. Knight e2 castle, double on the b file. Simple way to play this position. But for the most part, they're not going to take on b2. They'll go like knight d7 and c5. So c5 immediately. Okay, so we go c4. And this is just like a structural thing to know. This structure right here is always really good for white. You can go for this e6 break. The knights have squares to go to, and these pawns are weak. You'll get these pawns, no sweat. So just always keep in mind if you can go ed, or cd, like that's pretty good for white there. But yeah, generally they're going to prep when you click the up arrow instead. So generally they're going to prep it. Actually, let me look at knight c6. I've actually gotten this position before, and if you don't play correct, it is actually pretty tricky. You go knight f3, and I think, yeah, just queen b1. And just basically trust that the center will be okay. And the reason the center is going to be okay is you're going to castle, and it's going to be years before they castle. I would probably say the most tricky line would be something like here, because you're like, oh my god, I can't take on d5 because knight takes. But a3 first, and then we get the dream cd position, the cd. So if they take on c4, yeah, like I said, we're just going to castle first. You can go knight c4 if you want, but castle and just trust the attack is going to be great for white here. Okay, so knight c6 is good. So queen b2 here is a bit more tricky. There's like a really nice Morozevich game here, I think. If I'm correct. Let's see if I can find this guy. Yeah, Mirosevic, Lashnikov. Where you go rook d1, they take on d4, and you go. I think Mirosevic played queen b1, if I am also correct. Yeah, he didn't get this position. What did he play? Let me look at this. Let me see if I can show you guys this. I think it's a. Nah, it's not. Yeah, he played knight f3 first. But also, he didn't take on d4. Okay, so that's why. Right, he like checkmates him in the middle of the board. It's super beautiful. Anytime you checkmate at 2600, it's like, okay, you did something right. Because those guys don't just go down. Um, okay, so if queen d4, queen b3, sack all the pawns, and just, I think knight f3 and castle. Let me get rid of this now. Actually, a decent amount of games there. Yeah, so it's good to know how to actually get out of here. So bishop f4 is the key move. And once you castle, like, it's going to be a lot of fun. Can you just castle here? Asking for a friend. Okay, so actually, if they get the big center, you can't let, and that's actually why you go bishop c7. Bishop c7 is super deep. I would just go queen b7, and then just play there, but player's choice. Okay, so knight c6 is a bit more annoying, and this is where it actually looks scary. I've got this position before, I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to lose. But you're actually super cool with just going queen e2. And if they go knight c2 check, which seems really intuitive, you're actually winning here because his pieces, or his king is going to get blown up. So first thing, our classic CD, ED threat is there. Like if, say, knight a3, yeah. And then this, boom, like it's party mode. I think he has to trade, but this endgame is really good for white. Um, and if they go knight takes d4 and trade, once again, it's party mode. Oh yeah, rook h3 is a really cool move. You get the rook in fast. Your king is basically already castled, and you have a lot of dangerous threats on the d file and the d6 square. The d6 square is also very, very big in the Caro. Okay, so I would say for the most part, that's the main variations that you're going to see here. Yeah, we already looked at this. All right, so queen b6. All right, let's look at knight d7 first. Because knight d7, now if they go c5, actually it's just a better version. Because the knight on c6 is way more dangerous than knight on d7, and now we have a very strong intentions there. All right, so now knight h6, once again, you can do whatever you want. Generally, I just like this position, but there's a lot of options here. You can castle, you can go c4 if you want. All right, so that's going to be queen b6. Now queen a5 check, pretty much the big thing to know here is you have space. You just have a lot of space. This is another classic. You're gonna, and I think the knight always goes to f3. That's one of those like weird rules, but your knight always goes to f3. I think in general, in the Caro, it's kind of funky, but this knight goes to d2 and this knight goes to f3. You can always go knight e2 and knight f3 like this, but this is the common theme that I've seen actually already here. Like white's doing super well. So yeah, I would say that's kind of the only main way that black is going to play after queen a6, queen a5, queen a6. All right, so we covered all of these variations. Queen a5 check, bishop e7, and queen b6. All right, so the last one. No, so we did queen a5. Okay, so next we're going to do queen a5 check first. So this is early queen a5 check. They're trying to trade queens. They're trying to go queen e6 ASAP. Now, one thing that you always want to know is if you get e6 in, it's really bad for them. I'll just show you. This is not the move. Please don't get confused. This is not the move. But if they go like a6 here, I just want to show you guys, e6 is devastating. That's part of the CD-ED kind of complex over there. So queen a5 check, we're going to go b4. And b4 is a pretty gnarly move. So there's kind of two main variations here. There is queen a6 and queen takes b4. Most of your opponents will probably take on b4. But queen a6 is also very playable. And we get this kind of funky endgame where e6, take, and same thing here. Knight d2, and I think knight f3. I mean, there's a bunch of like weird configurations here, but the idea is it's like a very funky position for black, and he has a bunch of weaknesses. I think knight h6, you don't even take on f7. You go knight f3, and then you can do all this. But like I said, knight d2, knight f3. Now, if take on e6, knight d2, I think you can do it. I mean, I don't go too deep. But yeah, this is, I think, the one where you go knight e2, knight f3. But obviously, this is a different type of position. So just know that in these funky positions, then knight e2, knight f3 is more possible. All right, so enough of the fun stuff. So queen takes b4 check, knight d2. Pretty much they have to go e6. Once again, knight d7, e6, they're toast. Um, so e6. Okay, let's say they go queen b5. Here I would go c4. I would not trade queens. And well, we're gonna get into like stuff like this in a sec. Um, but okay, so e6, rook b1, queen e7. The only way to defend b5. And the way that I like to play here, and it's just the easiest way to play, is just go c4 immediately. Anything else, like it gets kind of confusing. They go b5, they get some space, and like you're better, but like it feels like, oh my God, if I don't do something, like black is gonna be eventually just up a pawn. So that's why I go c4 and just open up the position. Funny enough, actually no, you can go knight f3 here, but if they take, you're good to go. I think queen c7 is the more common way to play. Um, and then like knight e2, and yeah, can you go knight f3 here? Okay, so here knight e2 is better. So basically, the funky positions are pretty much, I would say, all the positions with the pawn sack. If you're down a pawn, you probably go knight e2, knight f3. If you're in a healthy relationship and you're not down a pawn, then you go knight d2, knight f3. But if it's toxic, if it's like, ooh, I don't know if this is gonna work, then you're gonna see a lot more knight e2, knight f3. Hopefully, that'll help you guys remember. Think toxic relationship and healthy, happily married. That'll tell you where the knights go. Um, all right, so yeah, so c4 and you're good to go. So that's pretty much all you got to know for there. So that does pretty much way more in depth than you guys were expecting. Cover all the bishop f5 lines. There's one more line that you actually want to know with bishop f5, and it's going to be h6 or even a6. Like, okay, basically, they're basically saying, come here, like let me see what you can do. They want you to go g4 and push all these pawns, and like you are better. It is a good position for white, but I've played it a couple times, and if you like chaos, then go for it, 100%. But if you don't like being attacked, and if you want to have a stable, once again, healthy relationship, just go bishop d3. And I do like cd better. Queen takes is possible, but basically you can play like a Moscow, where you go h5, queen g4, knight f3, and they're going to go c5. You're probably going to take on c5, and then you're going to just play this position. I don't even know if you have to go d4. But yeah, this position I think is very fun for white to play. Um, yeah, so basically bishop d3 and then h5. Now let's say, for example, a6, the same stuff. We don't negotiate with terrace. We go h5. And I think c5 is common. And a lot of times with c5, we're going to go dc. And basically, this transposes to a position that we're going to look a little bit in the future. But we have h5 in. But that's the great thing about pushing these corner pawns. Even if you lose them, generally it's not the end of the world. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. You open up the rook. Like h4, h5 is always a good waiting move. So okay, so h5 here. I think if you go bishop d3 here, why is this not as good? I mean, I guess you could do this too. Yeah, if you want to keep it even more simple. Yeah, this is actually going to directly transpose. Actually, I'll probably go h5 here. I want the space. Okay, there's some weird complications, I guess. Okay, actually, I want to know, why do we have to go knight c3 first? And if c5? Okay, why is this so much better? I don't get it. Now h5? Alright, we're learning on the fly here. So h5 here, c5. I think I know why. Because, actually, I don't know why. So if I go d4 here, why is this such a different position? Okay, I'm going to look at it one more time. So, knight c3, c5. Take, okay, it's going to have to do with bishop a7. I mean, I guess you want this knight out? Is that the reason? I don't even know if I want to do all this too. That's so okay. All right, I have to know. Sherlock Holmes is on the case. So if we go h5 first, and then c5, take d4 here, queen g4. So why is this so punishing? All right, all right. Anyway, it's something really deep in the weeds, but just always go h5 first in this position. And now if they go h6, okay, we're back in. And now we go queen takes, yeah. And we have a good Moscow. I'm sure pawn takes is fine too. Um, and if c5, yeah, we get back into something like this. All right, so that's going to be all of the bishop f5 variations. So now I'm going to go over how to beat a c5. So first, okay, so c5. This is the philosophy here. Okay, so if you take on c5, the problem here is his knight is not on c6. So he can just go like e6 and put his knight on d7. But when his knight is on c6, um, so c5, dc, knight c6. Now a3 b4 is good. So if he goes for something like this, okay, we're really happy with this position. Really b4, yeah. So knight f3, bishop b2, and bishop here. So we need to wait for him to commit his knight. That's the big idea here. So we go knight f3. Now if they go knight c6, then we're gonna go dc, because now we can go for a3, b4, and all of this. Because now b5 is the tempo. He can't just attack this. It's just a way better version here. And generally the idea is, let me see if I have this, is that something like this. You're gonna get the two snipers pointing that way. And then just try to get space, play chess. Very optically nice position, I would say. So, okay, so that's going to be, okay, so bishop g4. Okay, so knight c6, we take on c5. The other big variation is bishop g4. So bishop g4, ooh, is it on this one? Knight c6, dc, bishop g4. Okay, apparently it's on here. But, so we're going to go c3 here. So first things first, I've actually had my student have this. If they take on e5, you just take. Because if bishop takes queen, you go check. And it's like you get everything. I think the next best move here is king takes d1. Apparently you can take here first and take here too. But I would just take this and you'll be up a bunch of pieces. Okay, so c3. Generally what they're going to do is go e6, b4. All right, so now similar kind of idea. If they go knight takes e5 here, queen a4 check is really strong. They can't block with the queen because bishop b5 and then knight e5. And if they block with the knight, then knight e5 or b5 is even better. But knight e5 is also very strong. b5 and you have an attack on the knight as well as the bishop. Okay, so b4. Okay, so now they're going to take on f3 first. This is the more common kind of way they play. Probably the only way they can play. Knight e5, bishop b5 check, develop tempo, knight c6 and castle. All right, so now this is, I would say, pretty important to know with this position. Don't try to do too much. Finish developing your pieces. There's a couple of times I tried to do too much and everything fell apart. So what you're going to do is just bishop f4, I think knight d2, castle, like rook d1, and eventually, you're going to try to get your knight to d4 and go for a c4 break. But that's going to be way later. You see all these prepping moves are happening because you have space and you have bishops. Now, if they get to center, or if they break these pawns apart, then they have counterplay. But if you just like maintain the position, have control, the second half of the game will be very, very fun. You're either going to have a pass pawn over here, or the bishops are going to get going. You can start some kind of attack. So that's how you want to play this position. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be all the bishop g4 variations. c3, so we looked at knight e5, we looked at e6. Okay, so now, so you know what to do against knight c6? Let me go to ps2. Okay, so we did this one. So here, space advantage, you don't trade, so you go knight f3. So c5, I think we're going to go c4. Yeah, c4 and there's all the pawn stacks. Yeah, so this is, actually, I'll recap the problem set at the end. That way you guys kind of have an idea. I just want to go through these positions so I know what to cover. All right, so next we can go over, all right, we'll go over c takes d4, it's already there. So c takes d4, there's like the modern variation, kind of cool way to play is you go queen takes d4. Queen takes d4, knight c6, queen f4. And once again, you're going to have like a kind of an attack on this king side. And just basically a Moscow. Bishop d3, castle, h4, all that good stuff. Yeah, sometimes you will lose our soldier, the beautiful bishop. I don't think you can go c3 either. Something is wrong with it. I mean, like I said, I guess you need to... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know why, but like I said, my spidey sense was telling me C3 was not in. Okay, let's see Queen C7 here. What's the difference? Probably I castle. I have time to go Rook E1. That's all minute little details. All right, but basically the big idea is go Queen takes D4 and then Queen F4. Because that's CD4. Now E6 or Bishop G4. Let's look at Bishop G4. I've only had this once. It's super. I got all tripped up because I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. If I was supposed to take first or whatever. And I did something stupid. I don't remember what it was exactly. Maybe Bishop B5 check. And then this just transposes. It's just the transposition. Don't get. Oh, maybe this is why this is variation. This is where the variation is. If they go Knight C6 first, Knight F3. Oh, it's the same thing. I'm confusing myself. All right, so last, I would say really big variation is going to be E6. Okay, so actually E6 is not even a big variation. E6 is the funny part is it's just an advanced French. Um, they're a Caro player. I can play the advanced French pretty well actually, so it works pretty well for me. If you're not, if you don't play the advanced French, if you play something else, I would recommend the easiest thing to do is okay, either just play very like I'm not going to lose this pawn and go Bishop E2, and that way like actually, bishop e2 needs to know some theory. So I would just go a3. A3 is kind of the easiest way to play. Go b4, and then you just have space. Like a3 in life is good. So a3 b4 in life is good. That's what I would know there. And I think that's actually all of the Caro. Okay, so since I think I'm officially done, let me recap all the problem sets. All right, problem set one, h4 first. Number two, so here queen takes d3. E6, don't forget to go bishop g5. Got to get the bishop outside. Number three, b4, queen takes, and then knight d2 with the threat of rook b1. Number four, knight f3, waiting move. After knight c6, we can take on c5. All right, ps2. We're going to go, so we have a6. Remember, we do not negotiate with terrorists. We're just going to go h5, bishop d3, cd. If bishop e7, remember, we're not down a pawn. It is a healthy relationship. So we're going to go knight f3, knight d2. You have space, so you do not want to trade pieces. If c5 here, we're going to go c4. Remember, look for the cd, ed idea. If you get that, that's always really good. If queen b2, you're going to go rook d1. And I think you're down a pawn. I think you actually go knight f3 here. And the reason why, I wonder if it'll get to there. Okay, yeah, let me tell you this. So like c4, queen takes b2, rook d1, knight c6. We have to go knight f3 because after knight b4, the queen has to go back to e2. So just remember, if they can go knight b4, you have to go knight f3, so your queen comes back here, and you can always check the video for the other stuff. All right, so queen takes d4, we're gonna go queen b3, knight e2, bishop f4, and then the counter will be ready. So queen a5 check. So remember, this is after e6, so b4 would just be a very bad move. So you're going to go knight d2, they're going to go queen a6, and you're going to go c4. And then just maintain the pressure, maintain the space, life is good. Yeah, so just, let's see if I can get, yeah, so this, basically it's this variation, I think. Or no, okay, I think it's this. So here, just knight c4, bishop g5, and he should be dead. Like, that's really, really strong. Okay, so just remember in this b4 pawn sack variation, I don't know if I hope I did. just remember, I'll even pull it up here so y'all kind of can have an idea. Boom, boom, and boom. So after all this, remember to go c4. It's the easiest way to play. You have an open position, and white is having a good time here, I think. So yeah, knight h. So, okay, so here, actually, good question. It is an unhealthy relationship. So I would think that you go knight e2. There you go. Okay, I'm correct. If you're down a pawn, if it's toxic, then you go knight e2, knight f3. All right, I was scared it wasn't going to hold, but it holds. All right, if queen a6 here, we're going to go for this e6 pawn sacrifice. Queen takes, pawn takes, and remember, you're down a pawn here, so you know it's unhealthy. You're going to go knight e2, knight f3, knight e2, knight f4. And yeah, so basically against, just remember, okay, if they go knight a6, you go a3. Don't have to give anything for free. Yeah, And I think that's it. Or actually, sorry, I have a whole other problem set. What is the last question? Yeah, so just remember knight d2, knight f3. I think that's all you need for that one. And then number one. So here, queen takes d4, queen f4, bishop d3. The queen goes to c7, you go knight c3. It's just a random bonus, if you guys remember that. Knight takes e5. So here we're going to go bishop e5 check. Remember, oh, sorry, if knight takes e5 here, we go queen a4 check, queen a4 check. And then knight e5 is really strong with the bishop e5 idea. So now here, if they go bishop takes f3 first, then they take it. You go bishop e5 check, knight c6. And just remember that position, you want space. You got two bishops, and right now you have the center. So you need to control the center first. Probably bishop f4, castle, knight d2, rook d1, rook e1, and then eventually you can go for some break with c4 or try to push b5. Okay, so now e6, the knight is on c6. So we're going to go a3, b4, and then put the bishop on b2 and d3. Life is good there. It's an advanced French. If you don't play the advanced French, I mean, honestly, DC is probably a move. But I would just go c3, a3, b4. It's the easiest way to play. I've played it against it a bunch of times. I've actually played it a bunch of times, every variation, but a3, b4 is the Shirov variation. It's definitely more dangerous. And now, last but not least, if they go bishop g4 here, you're just going to go c3 and it transposes. c3, b4, knight e5, you still have knight takes e5 and you're good. All right, so that is all the Caro in under 30 minutes. And I will add the stuff at the end. So, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.